I want to pop in with a quick, timely update that my 12-week curriculum called Smart Body, Smart Mind, some people know this as SBSM, we will be running it again in September 2023. To be exact, we will open up registration on September 12th for 1 week, and we will begin around the 24th of September, a fresh new round. This will be the 14th time we have run this powerful online curriculum. That's all I'm going to say about it now. I just want to make sure you know, just in case you're wondering how you can do this work with me, how you can put the education and the theory into practice. Of course, Smart Body, Smart Mind is also education, but a lot of practice, and people have been doing this curriculum for many years now. We've had people from all over the country go through this curriculum and have much success. Check it out, get on the wait list, and mark your calendars for September 12th, which is when we open up registration. Hey friends, Irene Lyon here. Welcome to this video, to this YouTube channel, and to this world of healing trauma, nervous system health, and all things neuroplasticity. A little while ago, I tweeted something. I do tweet from time to time. And it was quite popular on the Twitter feeds. And then I posted it on Instagram, and it was even more popular there. Then we put it onto Facebook, and it got shared a lot. So I thought I would make a video about this tweet, this inspiration. I'm going to read it in a second, but it has to do with procrastination, self-sabotage, and fleeing from health, and how these three things can be connected to stored survival stress, which is code for, I should say, trapped trauma. So when we have got trapped traumatic stress, survival stress, this is that fight, flight, freeze, when our nervous system is not well, when it is called dysregulated. So when our nervous system is dysregulated, we can have problems in our life. And this is what a lot of my videos are about. Many of my other videos talk about chronic illness, autoimmune problems, depression, anxiety, parental troubles, relationship troubles, constantly getting into toxic environments, feeling unsafe, dealing with intense toxic shame. So all that information, all that education, all those connections I've done in other videos. So I wanted to tackle this concept of procrastination, self-sabotage, and fleeing from health. So this is what I wrote. I said, did you know that procrastination, or I should say procrastinating, and fleeing from health, aka sabotaging yourself over and over again, is a sign of trapped survival stress, also known as stored trauma. So this concept of, we know we have to do something. We know we need to leave the house to get to an appointment. We see the mess all around us, the dishes that have to be done, the exam that we need to study for, the email that we have to reply, the phone call we have to make, bigger life things also, like doing a practice that's really good for us and being in a really good space, and then we do something stupid or completely mindless, and we put ourselves back to square one. It's that concept of, what is it? 1 step forward, 5 steps back. The self-sabotaging that so many of us do, in my line of work, we would call it, we're fleeing from health. We are literally running away from having goodness in our life, from having success in our life. We are constantly self-sabotaging ourselves, and then that's where procrastination and even resistance comes into play. So I'm going to paint a scenario for you. Let's just say, so this is a very hypothetical, generalized visual. Let's just say someone was raised in an environment where it was very toxic, very stressful. And this doesn't have to be war-torn countries, massive physical, emotional, mental abuse. It could just be living in a household where you weren't allowed to be yourself, where you were told, that's not right, do it this way, don't cry, go to your room if you're gonna cry, you're not allowed to be angry, or, oh, you can be angry, but you can't cry, you're not supposed to dance when it's not Sundays. I don't know, I'm just pulling that out of my mind. There's these rules, these expectations, these conditions, right? Love and connection is given conditionally. So there's all these scenarios. It could also be war-torn country. It could also be intense forms of abuse and neglect. So let's just imagine this soup of badness where the little person is constantly living in fear, terror, fright, waiting for bad things to happen to them. In that toxicity, that little one is pretty much living under chronic survival stress, those fight, flight, and freeze patterns, right? There's a desire to fight, but you can't. You want to run away from home, but you can't. So what do? You shut down. So you start to become very grooved and very familiar. And this just becomes, if you think about the goldfish in a tank of water, it's like, that's just your water. It's your air. It's your oxygen. Even though it's toxic and not good, it's what you have, and you still have connection, even though the connection isn't safe to you. That's just the way it is, right? It is safe because you're still getting fed. You still have a roof over your home. You're being driven to soccer practice and to school. So there's like this, it's a confusion because there's this intense stress, but there's also this care that is care, but it's kind of odd care. So there's a scenario that I wanted to paint. Fast forward to now, say adulthood. Say you're in your 40s like I am, and you are in a life that's pretty good. Maybe you have a partner, maybe you don't have a partner, maybe you like what you do, maybe you've got some good friends, maybe you have an animal, you have plants, you have, you like certain things, music, whatever. So just imagine you're out of that toxicity. Maybe even you've broken up from that family system that harmed you. Maybe you know that that wasn't good, and so you're on your own track. And let's just say you have this common occurrence where when things are going really good, you find a way to screw it up. You self-sabotage yourself, you get into a car accident, you make a purchase that isn't good, and then you go into debt. You say something stupid even though you know you don't want to hurt someone, and it just comes out for no reason. Maybe you neglect your health even though you know you shouldn't, but you are, and you don't know what force inside of you is causing you to do these crazy things. So again, there's a million scenarios there. If you know that this is something that you do, you probably have already started to think about the things that you have done to self-sabotage yourself. So why would we do that when we know that that early stuff wasn't good and we were trying to come out of it? Chances are the connection hasn't been made. Often people just think there's something wrong with me mentally. I need to improve my behavior. I need to get a better to-do list. I need to get a journal to write things down. I need a study buddy. I need accountability. I need to do another form of therapy, another online course. I mean, all these things that we try to do to improve ourselves, often they're very external, right? They're externally based. They're based on, can't say it anymore better than just saying behavior change, right? We see this around the New Year's where people start new exercise routines or health practices or whatever it might be. There's this push to improve upon something and get serious. And then usually, and I've seen this when I was working in the fitness industry and in the nutrition industry, over a month or two, those behavior change strategies start to dwindle. And usually it's because it's driven from an external desire to maintain or get something that you know you want, be it better health, eating habits, healing trauma, whatever it is, but it's very externally oriented. And there hasn't been a diving into, why am I not able to just be healthy and process these things naturally? And so if we think back to that first scenario of growing up in just a stressful soup of survival stress, lots of intense tension, you name it. If you only knew that was how your system was grooved, that will be more normal to you than ease and regulation, being able to just live life and let things flow and follow intuition. And right, this will be that high stress will be what you know. Therefore, life is then good, life is great, but then something in the unconscious says, oh no, you don't. Nope, that's not how we were wired. We were wired very much like this. Therefore, you have to do something to screw it up, to sabotage, to flee from this goodness. And typically, I will tell you, it is not conscious. It is often unconscious. It's not even subconscious. It's so unconscious because the autonomic nervous system is just that. It is automatic, right? When you've been born and raised in that kind of intensity, it just becomes how you've been grooved. I had an image just as I said that, when you're driving on those big interstate highways and you're on the right lane, at least here in North America, if it's right-hand drive, and the big hauling trucks, because there's so many of them and they're heavy and they have huge tires, they groove like a path, right? It's like, and if you're driving in your little car, you can like get stuck into it, like, and you kind of wakes you, it jolts you, it might even cause a fear response, right? So think about how we were raised. If it was always toxic, always stressful, we start to be in that groove pattern, we don't even know it. And so then fast forward to your adult years and you're consciously wanting to improve yourself, but that groove pattern is just so damn strong and it just keeps pulling you back into those lines. This will happen. It's not something that we can completely avoid. The key is having the awareness and the knowledge, and hopefully you're getting this information now through this video, to know, whoa, this is what that Irene woman said. Like, I'm pulling back into that path. Even though I don't want to be there, it's what my system knows. So if you are on this journey of health and healing and connecting your mind, body, and I hope you're connecting with the environment, this is a big part of my work, right? The environment is what offers us that toxicity. It also offers us that healing, right? As a human being, as a child, as a teenager in a home life, we're not creating the drama. The drama is outside of us and it's impacting us. Therefore, when we want to change those pathways, those grooved patterns, we have to work with ourselves, but we also have to work with the environment and reconnecting to it, because we didn't know the environment around us. We just knew fear, stress, shut down. This is the way it is. So to go back to that original comment tweet, this concept of procrastination and self-sabotage and how we will hinder our development and our healing and finding our infinite true potential if we are not aware of this potential suck back to that pathway. It will suck us over, right? The system wants to know what it knows. It doesn't want to create something that's different. It gets really comfortable. But being in that state of shutdown, fight, flight, freeze, trapped in that trauma, based on the research, based on many of the other videos I've done over the years, when we stay in that groove, it makes us sick. It creates the chronic illness, the autoimmune illness, the anxieties, the mental problems, the inability to parent and find good relationships and further ourselves, right? So staying stuck in that is not good. So shifting to a situation that is more open and free and just more in flow, right? And more regulation and more harmony in just better goodness, it's going to be some work, because that autonomic pathway is just going to keep bringing us back. So we have to use our mental capacities and have a very keen eye of observation on when we might start to trip ourselves, right? So I'll leave you with this. Watch yourself. If you know you are working on your system, your nervous system, maybe you want to work on your nervous system and heal those old groove patterns, just know that the path is not going to be linear. We're going to go off the side a little bit. We might go into the ditch a little bit. We might need to pause and wait and process and integrate, right? It's not going to be this quick fix. One day there's all this storage survival stress and the next day it's all gone. It doesn't work that way. Does not work that way. But if we can do the right practices, which is of course what I teach in my courses and programs and resources, if we can do the right practices in the right sequenced way, which is very important, I call this neuroplastic healing sequencing. And if we can also be prepared for these hiccups, these moments, we might find ourselves sabotaging ourselves back into that. But at least when we do, we can start to learn what was the thing that tripped me. And then over time, slowly, we start to catch it before it actually happens. we catch ourselves in the act of self-sabotaging ourselves before we actually do it. So it might have to happen 1 or 2 or maybe a dozen times or 100 times, but as you start to observe it and you start to get connected to the somatic system and into the external environment in a healthy way, the system, the brain starts to catch these things. This is learning. And as we learn these patterns and habits, we can pause them as they are occurring and we can redivert to another path. And hopefully it isn't just a grooved path. Hopefully it's a beautiful vista with lots of options and lots of roads and lots of places that isn't just this one grooved way of being. It's no fun staying in that, right? So I will end it here. Know that healing from procrastination, self-sabotage, and fleeing from health is possible, but it takes a multidimensional approach at this nervous system level, at the somatic level, at the environment level, and also using that higher brain to catch yourself when you are falling over to that grooved path. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening and learning and watching. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, somewhere near this video, if you're on YouTube, will be a little bell that you click. If you're not on YouTube, somewhere near this video will also be something that you can move over to learn more about this work and reconnect with me via my email list, via my programs, via my other resources. Thank you again, and we will see you next time.